The last few years visiting talent hotbeds, these small places that produce impossible numbers of talented performers, and looking at patterns that recur. And there are patterns that recur over and over again that are connected to the way human beings are built to learn.
My name is Coyle. I'm the author of The Talent Code, which is a project of mine where I visited talent hotbeds around the world to see what common principles they share.
Thinking that you as a coach can develop talent by combining people with natural gifts who work hard and have passion is exactly like thinking you can create a Ferrari by combining steel and red paint and Italian.
There's a lot of interesting new science in this area, in the area of performance and talent development. So the book is about sort of a fusion between those two things, visiting these places and then looking at the underlying science to see why they exist.
What are the latest trends in sports science, sports medicine, in sports psychology, education, coaches education, parent education, and so forth. So we go around the world and we bring that back and we share that with the staff here and with programs and with the group, for example, tonight.
And so it's very refreshing to see a place like YSC that is really building itself around the idea of the practice as the construction space, the holy space, the most important thing.
You can look at a practice, glance at it, and see if it's a good practice or not, right? You can walk up to the field and feel it. And I think what you're sensing is the number of reaches per second. If you've got a line of kids and one of them kicks it and then goes to the back of the line and another one kicks it and goes to the back of the line, how many glows, how many reaches per second are you doing? Like 1 a second. Okay, if you take those same 11 kids and create 4 little intense drills that are more like games than drills, more emotional, how many reaches per second are you doing then?
Again, we've all been told from the time we're small that, practice makes perfect, right? But some of the science is really showing us that practice comes in a lot of different varieties. And the pattern that I saw in the talent hotbeds that sort of recurred over and over again was a particular type of practice called deliberate or deep practice. It's based on struggle. It's based on operating right on the edge of your ability and reaching over and over for something you can't quite do. This sort of emergent idea is that when you practice at something on the edge of your ability, you're improving your brain, you're growing your brain. You're building certain substances in your brain that make signals move faster and more accurately. So practice makes for faster brains.
If an average coach speaks 100 words to his players, how much would a really good coach speak? And he said 10 words. He wasn't giving speeches. He was saying, move your hands like this. He was giving targeted information to them. That's what coaches do, targeted information quickly, so that it can be remembered.
There's a little bit too much focus in America on winning right down into 10-year-olds, when actually the focus should be on skill development and developing a passion and love for the sport.
In this country, I think we have a disease called the scoreboard, which governs youth development. Players and parents both think they win if they win. And the truth is, you don't really develop players by winning games. In fact, it is antithetical to developing players.
And I think sometimes when we systematize our practice, and it all has to be sort of official, and we miss out sometimes on the real source, especially I would think with soccer, the real source of a solid relationship between a player and the ball, a real source of control. And it comes from spending hours and hours and hours with a ball at your feet, just being addicted to playing with it.
It's always been our deep passion and commitment for youth development that really fuels what the union do. We don't believe that there is a system like this in the United States, and we're one of the first, and we partnered with a world-class youth development partner in YSC.
You really need 3 things in place. You need to have a space where you can do that kind of practice. The second thing you need is a certain type of motivation that connects to the identity of the person, called ignition, where they're looking at someone that they want to become. And the third element that's present often in these places is a master coach. These hotbeds are more like greenhouses where they've got the right kind of sunlight coming in, the right kind of soil, and the right sort of gardeners.
Well, we hope really to become a center of education, a resource center, so people in this area within a reasonable distance will say, hey, what's the latest theories on skill development? What should we do with our 12-year-old? What should we do with specialization like diversification? They'll come here for that resource.
We don't approach the marketplace and compete with all the clubs in the area and the various soccer programs in the area. Rather than compete, we collaborate to make their players better, ultimately looking to become union professional players someday.
The science of this place seems sound. The coaches I've met seem masterful, and it'll be fascinating to see how this